Hello everybody, this is Marcel. Wanted to talk to you today about my thoughts on attraction. I'm sure most of us would agree that that's probably the major driving force to a great number of bad decisions that people make. I intend this video to be released in tandem along with my reply to Riley J. Dennis's video. Your dating preferences are discriminatory. I separated them because that one was starting to get a little bit long, and not everybody cares or even wants to hear about that guy. I'll put the link to my reply to him as well as to his original video down below. A good place for me to start on this topic would be when I first started noticing my own attraction to the opposite sex. I was 4 years old, and two very specific things happened at around the same time at my babysitter's house. I had my first kiss by the babysitter's daughter, who was a year older than me, and I specifically remember watching the older sister, who was in her late teens at the time, doing yoga and taking a serious interest in her legs while she was doing it. So one could speculate as to whether or not those two first memories, if you want to call them that, in regards to any kind of attraction, caused me to become a legs, lips, and eyes man that I am today, or if I was already and I just happened to notice it at that time. Regardless, I have a very hard time believing that that was culturally created by the media or any other broad social interactions. Nobody walked up to a 4-year-old kid and said, "Hey, this is sexy. You should probably stare at this more." Nonetheless, for about the next 20 years, those very same things are what I sought after in pretty much every relationship. During my adolescence, I would seek out or notice first women that had nice legs, eyes, and lips, and approach them or give them more attention than women that did not carry those qualities. I would always try and say that personality was important to me, and in some ways it was, just for the wrong reasons. As I said in previous videos, I would like to chase after the bad girls or people that needed help that I could fix. I was a fixer. No matter what a person is attracted to, where we all start running into problems, just like I did back when I was a blue pill male, revolves around our willingness to forgive terminal flaws within the relationship. What I mean by that, at that time, I was willing to allow or justify either forms of mistreatment or mental abuse from women solely because they were fulfilling a sexual desire, and that was weighed heavier in my mind than my own treatment or sanity. I tolerated things that I never should have, and I definitely never would have from another male. What makes this entire system of choosing a mate inherently flawed or entirely broken is the fact that these qualities that we seek out, whether it be a tight ass and soft lips, for women, let's say nice abs, big biceps, a cool car, absolutely none of that applies to the quality or longevity of the relationship. To put it simply, it wasn't meant to. Those are psychological remnants of an earlier time when physical appearances had relation to or would imply that a person had good reproductive health or would be more able to take care of and provide for the family. Now, one could argue that that changes from culture to culture, from country to country, and that is true, because over time, the people that are considered the most attractive are the ones who get to reproduce more often. And if that coincides with those that are most physically fit or healthy, or more financially or capable of sustaining the family, then their reproductive chances go up. It's survival of the fittest. Choosing someone based on the size of their ass or their wallet is literally the lowest form of selection when it comes to finding someone to be with. At least for us supposedly evolved sentient life forms, we put a man on the moon, but when it comes to selecting a mate, most of us have the mental processes of a border collie. Sniff, sniff, hey, you're hot, want to get married? Perhaps I'm being harsh, But I'm not sitting here bashing against the idea of going out and finding people to have sex with. I don't recommend it because of the drama and the risks involved. I'm just saying that the people you want to have sex with don't always have to be the people that you have to be in a relationship with to get that sex. And the market value of sex is so remarkably high, and the risks are so high that it typically isn't worth it. At least not for us guys. I was always confused why sex wasn't considered an equivalent exchange. Then you throw into the mix artificially injected standards of beauty from feminists telling us things that are not beautiful should be, as well as from the media or by advertisers. I will say that advertisers are not creating an image of beauty, they're exploiting an image of beauty that already exists. That's one of the things I don't think these feminists get. They're the ones walking around trying to tell other people what their image of beauty should be. Advertisers would have to spend a fortune trying to convince people that someone is beautiful when all they have to do is put an actually beautiful person next to like a beer can or something to try and sell the beer. Logic like that is lost on some people though. Women aren't paid less because if they were, companies would hire almost entirely women because it's more cost effective. Advertisers and media are not going to try and turn ugly people pretty because it's more cost effective to simply hire pretty people. The only exception to that would be, for example, someone trying to sell people a diet pill. They have to first convince them that they want to lose weight before they'll get them to agree to buy the pill. Guys get that kind of treatment too, though, just in a different way. We're judged by our financial success, and that ties into social. You just don't see guys picketing in the streets. Broke is beautiful. Don't judge me by my car size. Would you not have sex with me just because I live in a trailer? Sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? But it'd sure be a hell of a lot easier than trying to actually be successful. Kind of like how convincing other people that fat is beautiful is a lot easier than going on a diet. All in all, the big picture here that people are missing is what really matters is how you treat each other. Blue pill guys, for the most part, are willing to allow all kinds of mistreatment for the privilege of getting laid. One way to look at MGTOW is simply men who have raised their standards of treatment to a point where they are no longer interested in dating. They don't want to accept a small handful of tang for the 5-gallon bucket of shit that comes with it. And what's really sad about it is most of us just want fairness and respect. You tie that in to what a Nawalt would be, and all she is a woman that rather than exploiting a man's qualities, she accents them and encourages them. Instead of destroying his dreams, she goes along with him because that's what a partner would be. As a summary, basing a relationship on simple attractions is idiotic. Have high standards. Don't ever settle, and certainly don't ever let anybody else convince you that your preferences or standards when it comes to a relationship or sex are wrong simply because they want it easier when it comes to finding a date. All hail to the no. We men, if we choose to date at all, decide what our standard is for beauty. Unless, of course, you guys want some lesbian feminist setting that bar for you. I suppose to each their own. Anyway, I hope you all found this interesting, despite it being a bit of a rant. I'll have new content out soon, so if you want to hear more, like and subscribe.